Sixth Sense. He did a lot of Did much a lot of shit.
Yay! Spark of Madness!
I'll fix the camera.
Oh yeah, we got some green screen fail. Oh, wrong way.
There
we go. Oh, the tattoo.
Let's check
Okay.
Ben's camera.
So,
Ben!
there we go. Welcome to the Spark of Madness podcast. We are continuing our month of January of movies of pure critical gold. We went from Bright to The Bride.
Bright Bride.
Last week, starring Sting. That was a
Great
interesting
cinematic
podcast.
experience.
And now we're doing Waterworld from 1995. Are you guys excited for this
I can
one?
tell Ben's excited.
Yeah, he's not even paying
I guess he
attention.
didn't do Back to the Future.
All right, Aaron, you suggested this movie. I had not seen it before
Ever?
at all. No,
I had hoped that you didn't because I wanted to see like a genuine this year reaction.
okay. That seems to be the case with a lot of random movies,
It's
like from the
I've
past.
seen a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I knew the only thing I knew about Waterworld going in. Two things. One of them was a misconception that it was a flop.
Oh.
It was at first.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess it was a flop just because of the other thing I knew, which was that it was like the most expensive movie.
Yes.
Because Kevin Costner's hairline had to be computer generated, altered to be for some reason.
Was it?
Is that true?
Yeah.
What?
Really?
That's one of the prevailing stories is that there was some computer generation stuff to fix his hairline in the movie.
No way.
That takes the Batman mustache or the Superman mustache
Come on,
that
dude.
we witnessed.
And that,
Just buzz it
but you know
short,
what?
buddy.
You know what, though? They did a better job than the Superman mustache. I had no idea.
It's like the legs in Forrest Gump. If you do the computer stuff well enough, no one will ever notice.
Yep.
That's true.
Yep. Ben, what is your experience with Waterworld?
You know, I remember the hype. I was too young to see it at the time. But I remember my older cousins and brothers were like, "Oh, Waterworld's gonna be so cool, most expensive movie ever made," you know, blah 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 blah. And they went to see it. I think they liked it. You know, they liked it. But I remember like seeing it a few years later, and then seeing it again, and now seeing it again.
Yeah.
No, I mean that was my experience. I remember them making it. I remember the news about it, how it didn't make its
Didn't
money
live
back.
up to the money.
But that was years later when I, figure out when I cared about that. As a kid, I thought, oh, that looks cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ugh, they got
I mean, for
contraptions.
me, I feel like the reason I liked it so much is because I was not exposed to the hype. So I didn't have any expectations. So I just went in, watched it, and was like, oh, wow. I like it.
That's a good movie. Are they the murderers? No, they're the smokers.
The slavers? No, the
Slavers.
smokers.
Okay, so
Give me those tomatoes.
give me those tomatoes.
That's a reference to the movie.
You have a keen eye, Matt.
Okay, so the bad guys are called the smokers, and they literally smoke.
Yeah.
So basically, this is,
I couldn't even make heads or tails of why they were called the smokers.
because they smoke cigarettes, right?
Only one of them did.
No, they all did. He threw his cigarettes to everybody.
Oh, he did?
yeah.
All these years and I never noticed?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
So this movie's a giant PSA.
I thought they were talking about the
Don't
plane.
smoke.
Smoke.
The plane, it was a crop dusting plane.
No.
I thought that was the smoke.
No, when I watched it recently, it was like, wait, they're all smoking. He's giving cigarettes to everybody, like when he's walking around, and they love to smoke, so they're the smokers.
Oh, I
they're
heard
literally
that-
the smokers.
You're right. This
I'm
movie
still-
was funded by nicotine.
Well,
All right,
no, it's
yeah.
a PSA of how bad what nicotine can do to you. The oil ship that they were on represents the tar in the lungs that you can
Oh,
get. So
this is actually like Inside Out, but for the lungs.
Ben, this is the most
Absolutely.
metaphorical I've seen you be.
why?
I'm enjoying it. I love
No,
it.
but I'm
really-
serious. So it's a
that's
big,
a really good
So Waterworld
observation.
is just a big PSA movie about the dangers of smoking.
Are you
What
smoking
it
yet?
causes to the environment. You know,
You know
See,
what?
this movie, unlike Mother, was about the environment.
it was. It was. It actually is.
Literally, the first words from a narrator that we never hear
You know,
again
and
is
it's just-
the polar ice caps have
It's
melted.
the in
and
a world, guy.
It's in the world, guy. It's like, and the polar ice caps have melted.
And that's it. You
Yeah.
got it. You got it right. All right, here we go.
That was one
You
of
ready?
the cool things that I remember from when I first saw it was you've seen the Universal logo so many times, and then they change it up and make it so that the words go away and they zoom in on the planet
Yeah.
there. That was a neat. little thing.
That was a really
pretty
cool,
cool.
idea. It's like, well, you know,
It's not something anybody would expect.
No, and that's half the budget.
That was a spherical object.
But it was so cool.
There's a button for spheres in 3D
that's just
software.
clever. No,
Like in
I was
your
telling
basic
Matt on the way
3D
up.
software, there's a button that says sphere.
That's true. I was telling Matt on the way over here. That's what happens if they don't cut the like. That's been Universal's like opening forever. And
Just assuming global warming.
That was in like, well, you know, maybe we should just cut it there and go to the
Yeah,
next.
that's a little
you know,
dark
go
to
the movie.
assume that we'll all be
like,
drowned.
They just let it go a little bit longer.
Yeah,
And the world guy comes and narrates it. You know,
yeah.
in
was
the
pretty
world of ice.
The funny thing is, this
Melted.
movie's not like it doesn't harp about the environment. It's just sort of involved.
It's conceptual. It's like this
It's
is.
an underpinning.
It's like here's an interesting idea of a post-apocalyptic world if the ice caps melted.
And you know what? It's more fun when it's just presented to you instead of smeared all over your face.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel awful.
Yeah, no, I think it was a good balance between positing, especially at that time, thinking about global warming. Like we talk about it now, but in the early mid 90s, I guess, you could think that this was a new concept that was kind of unproven. So that like,
Global
okay.
warming is a myth.
Huh? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought
I believe in
no,
flat
dude.
Earth.
I thought it
So-
was that global warming is very real. We're just trying to argue over whether or not we did it.
No, we're just arguing whether it's called global warming or climate change.
Ah,
Well, the president dispelled all
shall
of
we
this,
do
so-
a political?
It's really cold
podcast
outside,
now?
obviously.
Yeah. See,
Remember in 1995 when they said the ice caps would be melted by like 2010? That was cool.
Fake news.
fake.
All right.
Remember
So
in 1975 when they were talking about the big freeze instead?
What I tell you, Mr. Bain? Remember the big freeze?
Let's talk about Waterworld.
let's talk about.
You remember what happened to the dinosaurs?
They were cool.
Nice to meet you. I think he actually says that.
I think he does too.
Chill.
Yeah, those are the worst ones.
They're the
Of
best.
just like it's cold. Worse.
You know the Klingon proverb. Revenge is a dish.
In contrast, Waterworld could have very easily gone into very water-related puns, like they could have been acknowledging how, gosh, it's wet all the time, or like they could have been. So one thing that I was
They're like, they break the fourth wall. This movie's watered down.
Oh, Gewalt.
Spend no expense.
so seeing as this movie is almost 25 years old.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It is
God, I'm old.
I imagine people listening or watching this
25
episode
years old.
may not remember, or people may not have seen it. So what is let's give a overall kind of, we've set up that the world is flooded because of climate change and there is no land and there's water everywhere. How would you describe sort of the events of the movie so we can get caught up? So it stars Kevin Costner as the Mariner.
The Mariner.
He's our main character,
The
right?
Submariner.
He doesn't go into
Basically,
water.
all you got, audience, whoever's listening, whomever's listening, all this movie, Waterworld is basically Mad Max
Yeah.
with water.
And you know
I
what's
wrote
funny?
that down
with,
after
with
2
water.
seconds.
With water.
AKA Water Mad Max.
Water Mad Max. And they deliver.
Fun
Yep.
fact:
They do.
I never made the connection to Waterworld and Mad Max until I was much older. So,
Because you didn't see Mad Max yet.
yeah, I did.
I actually saw this before Mad Max.
So you're the like, Mad Max totally ripped off Waterworld.
It ripped it.
Give Kevin Costner
I don't think it's fair to say that anything
Mel
could
Gibson's
rip off
book, you know.
anything when it's just apocalyptic world.
No, but the
There's only so many ways that can go.
it's the similarities are like the way it looks, like the post-apocalyptic like look in terms of the costumes and like
Yeah,
how
there's no
everybody's sunburned.
technology. Everything seems very
Either one would have
practical.
happened
and-
without the,
The
other.
bad guys use fuel, like
yeah,
like,
there's a lot of rusty equipment. That's this was another thing I wrote
no
down.
water.
It leveraged
There's no
this
water
like
drink.
80s, 90s, which we've talked about a lot on this podcast and a couple of our older movies. Is like the love affair with just contraptions and thinking through like basic engineering and pulleys and fulcrums and like you pull this thing that then knocks over the other thing, like all this mousetrap
Push on the
crap
push
to
on, you
make
pull
things
on the
move
pull on,
and
the
work.
pickles
Matt,
go
did you
into
say
the jar.
fulcrum?
Fulcrum. Pivot.
Well done.
What's that guy?
Well, I don't know
who did
the
all, like,
other
the
one.
crazy inventions that push a button. You know,
Rube
like,
Goldberg.
what's his name?
Rube Goldberg.
I was trying to avoid the Rube Goldberg.
It's the Rube Goldberg world.
Yeah,
in water.
everything in
everything in the
everything
90s was-
created in this time that was like 90s. Like even on Gremlins, like here's the inventor who comes up with some weird invention that uses like mechanics that don't make any sense.
It's Goonies, man. It's
Yeah,
Goonies.
right, yeah.
The Goonification of the world.
Everybody wants a more elaborate version of what you really want.
You know what? I take that something well thought out and fun than that. You know,
Would you rather have an engine? Well, I guess in this case with the boats, like you're trying to. The difference between the good guys and the bad guys is that the bad guys rely on fuel and the good guys just rely on wind and nature to propel them.
yeah.
Fun
right.
fact: I'm pretty sure Pee Wee Herman built that boat that the Mariner uses.
I did see a Mr. T breakfast cereal in the background.
That's one of his things that
Yeah.
floated.
your food. Don't eat my cereal.
He just says Pee Wee like the corpse of Pee Wee in his little basement.
There was one line when the actress, the main actress, says, "You're such a jerk," and he goes, "I know you are, but what am I?" You know, maybe there's something to it.
All right,
Yep,
all right.
yep, yep. I'm
So
working on that theory
we
for
didn't
a
really
decade now.
explain. So there's global warming.
Aaron,
All right, yeah, Aaron,
explain the
you do
plot.
it, you do
explain
it.
the plot.
This guy has a boat.
All right, Matt, you explain the plot. Matt, you do it. Just go.
Really? Okay, all right.
Yeah, no, seriously.
So it really is kind of Mad Max in that there's a Kevin Costner is like a loner character. He's Max. He really is
Yeah.
kind of a Max character, but on a boat. And
a mutant.
we're introduced to this world where there are floating kind of small cities within a confine of like a floating barge or something, and people like trade valuable things in exchange, like
Dirt.
trade dirt, which is the like basically
valuable.
gold, I guess,
you
because
can
there
grow
is no
stuff.
land anywhere.
Yeah.
And so it's very rare. Same with paper. Paper was really rare,
Hey,
which I never would have thought of.
Well, think of it like this: people like to collect diamonds. What do?
Fair enough. Seriously. Yep. There's no other counter. But there's these little communities, and everybody has become sort of
Organized.
organized, but around like like the stereotypical post-apocalyptic version of power struggle with like
Pirates.
the most pirates. Basically, it's pirate culture.
There's still some semblances of religion.
There was one at the very start where Kevin Costner finds a floating jug of dirt in the ocean.
No,
No, he dived down to get it.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he found it.
Yeah, he's the
He
one
was
who
like-
Oh, and he
showed it.
brought it up.
He
Oh,
brought
yeah,
it
that's
up.
right. Okay.
Yeah,
He
you
was
were
like
watching it right
trolling
there.
the bottom with a hook or something, and he snagged something.
And that's why the guy stole the fruit at the
Yeah.
beginning.
the
Who
limes.
who looked like
I know he looks like somebody. Who
he
is it?
He looks like the dad of Oscar Isaacs. Like he looks like Oscar Isaacs.
Yeah, he did.
Like,
You're right. Yeah.
like, that's how I can frame him.
I don't know who that is.
He's the Poe Dameron.
Poe
from,
Dameron.
Right.
Poe Dameron's dad.
Yeah,
Right.
Poe Dameron Sr.
he's Apocalypse.
My favorite guy.
But towards the start, he brings the dirt to the it takes a while. He brings the dirt to the city to trade for stuff that he wants, and at that point, like this, like clan of, it's led by that like Asian guy. He comes in and is like, "Hey, you want to mate with this woman that's part of our clan?
You want
And
to
it's-
plant a seed?"
And
First of all,
he's like, then he brings up, you can only inbreed so much or something. Like, he
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
brings up inbreeding. Like, it starts to get really weird after so many generations.
Starts
Like,
to become undesirable.
yeah.
it's like, whoa. Okay. That was a eye-opening scene right off the gate.
Well, and then it's funny because they make a reference with the with the smokers. He calls them all cousins, right? You know? So I think that like, all right, cousins, like they're probably all related. And that's probably why they're all fucked up, you know.
Yeah.
Like so.
Yeah. And so I don't know. Basically, by going to this bar, this little city, we cross paths with this woman who's like a bartender named Helen. And she is sort of the surrogate mom for this little girl who has a tattoo that is a map to dry land, which is myth or real. Nobody knows. But Dennis Hopper's our evil villain, and he's part of this group trying to find the girl with the map to get to dry land. And that's sort of our struggle. And Kevin Costner is the mariner who wants to be a loner, but through circumstance feels obligated to them, to
He's
the
a
girl
loner,
to
Dottie,
escape.
a rebel. There are things about him you couldn't understand.
You wouldn't understand.
That's one more connection. Keep going, Matt.
And well, so that's the struggle is that Dennis Hopper's constantly chasing them as they kind of set sail, the three of them.
After they
Costner,
escaped from the
right? We can talk about that scene,
Yeah.
but they're all sort of heading towards dry land. But Dennis Hopper wants to capture the girl to then find dry land.
No, they weren't heading. You didn't watch the movie.
Yeah, they
did you?
were.
No, they're just.
They were just going in the ocean.
They're just aimlessly. They're trying to find it, but they don't know where it is.
Yeah.
I thought he was like, "I can take you there," and or was he lying the whole time?
Oh, he was lying. They make mention to that. To like,
okay.
I had to tell him what to say so to make him believe it.
As you can
know?
tell,
Yeah,
I
he-
wasn't.
he
paying-
says
no,
that he-
not that. No. Kevin Costner.
Oh no, Kevin
Oh.
Costner was saying because what he was lying, but what she wanted to know where he got the dirt, and the dirt where he got it was under like he digged
Right.
it up in the
Well, so
city
he
to
was
show them-
lying
He
then.
He said he wanted to show them what they didn't know about the cities underneath. They didn't know they existed in a world where that history of like
They
didn't
thought
know-
they would just find dry land.
Well,
whereas
yeah.
he's like, no, it's like
Well, here's the
leagues
thing. And this
below
is pretty
us.
good. They exist, and they make mention to this. They've been in this world for a little while now, in generations of.
It's the predominant theory that the world was created that way.
That's exactly, and they thought this doesn't make sense that they can't, like they don't have the way of the water. It's a terrible way to live. Where he takes her down there to show her, like, this is what the world was.
that was a cool scene.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
little
The Pepsi
deep diver.
Pepsi product placement. You know, in
Pay
there.
for the movie somehow.
Oh,
Yeah.
At least it wasn't IHOP.
yeah. Yes, it wasn't IHOP. But he was trying to show her where he got the dirt, and this was dry land, you know, because he's probably one of the few people who's ever seen it. Because
There's
he's
just like a matchbook store.
yeah,
There's a
Yeah.
Radio Shack.
yeah.
Screw this.
There's a Blockbuster. He's like, "What's this movie? Waterworld? It looks like shit."
So he
Waterworld
shows
too.
them the wet ground underneath, and then they're like, "Whoa,
And
What happened?
Yeah,
So
it's
she
like-
had a revelation.
Yeah,
So
that's
he
their
said-
big turning
And that
point.
was he was lying, but this is where she didn't know where he got the dirt, and he got the dirt from there.
from the bottom. Yeah. That's kind of the overall arc.
That is the point where the smokers abduct
literally
the girl because they'd been following them. They abduct the girl while the two of them are under the water.
Yeah, kiss breathing,
That's smart.
Oh, yeah.
though.
which we haven't brought up. We haven't brought up that Kevin Costner
I said he was a mutant.
is right, but that means he has web feet and gills
Gills
Yeah.
behind his ears. Yeah.
behind his ears.
But that would make
And-
sense. That makes sense. So like,
So this is like,
the evolution of humans would start
Yeah.
slowly evolving to adapt to the water.
and
Well,
there's
at least one of them.
there's a culture.
Well-
yeah, he's the only one.
Well, I guess in the director's cut, which I've never seen, they talk about there's more of them out there, and we'll get to it. But like,
I don't. If there's a second director's cut, I want to see that.
We
'cause
gotta
the one I
keep-
have is the director's cut,
oh, that's probably the one.
but they don't make mention of it.
Well, he says he wants to go look for him
Oh,
at the end, and at
mermaids.
the end, so we
He
can.
wants to go look
Do
for
you
more
want to jump the
people.
shark, or just keep telling it?
Well, I was going to say that, like, around the mutants thing, at least they acknowledge it because when the city at the start, the second they know that he's a mutant, they're like,
Lock him up. Get him out of here.
That I never understood.
They're
like
afraid
they
of mutants?
freak out.
Yeah,
We got to build a wall. We can't let in
gotta
these
keep mutants out.
I mean, they've already
Very
got all of them.
X-Men. Yeah.
Well, I just don't understand why they would be afraid of a mutant. I would think it was pretty cool.
Yeah, you could use them for shit.
Go diving for us. We'll pay
Get
you.
more dirt.
Yeah,
See?
seriously. If I found that, if I was the one running the atoll and I saw him and knew he would be able to dive to the bottom and stuff, well, I guess they didn't know that there was stuff on the bottom. Anyway, I would hire him. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing that they didn't really do much of is acknowledge sea life, like animals. Like they did
One
one
thing that
scene
didn't
of
make any
fishing
sense.
that was really weird, where he basically was live. He made
Live
him.
bait?
Kevin Costner made himself live
That
bait.
didn't make any sense. What happened? Like, what happened?
Just a monster fish that was bigger than anybody
Bigger than their boat,
I've ever seen.
huge, bites him, but doesn't.
It
prick him
doesn't
with his
show
teeth.
him getting eaten.
Yeah, but how does it explode?
Explode?
The fish explodes.
It did.
I
When
don't
he eats it,
remember
it
that.
explodes.
I just remember him. I just saw him getting eaten and then just quick cut to them eating it.
Yeah.
What happens is he gets eaten and it explodes.
There was no explosion. He had like a dart gun, or he had his like.
But why? But there was a part where he put the. It didn't make sense. There was a part when he put the battery on and the left. Maybe the battery had something to do with it. Maybe there was a
I
charge.
think the battery was just running the boat.
Either way, they set up a lot that fishing rods are stupid
Yeah.
and worthless, and then he just goes out, gets eaten, and that's his way.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be the bait. Bit, got it. Got this
Yeah.
monster fish.
And where'd that come from? Like, oh, that's just one monster fish. Like, if it came out of the blue, literally came out of the blue, wouldn't there be more monster fish that come out after it's been exploded?
I mean, it gets to the point of like, okay, you're able to do that. Why would they hate on mutants? Like, you can catch a gigantic fish using your body with no risk to yourself and
Well, they
feed
never knew he could do that because they wanted to kill him. They never found out.
this.
And to answer your question or your thing, Ben, there were more of those. Remember later where he's teaching the girl how to swim?
Yeah, she said there's more monsters. Like, she was.
He's like, no, they're asleep.
They're
now."
sleeping.
I always liked his delivery there. no, they're asleep now.
I do like the delivery when she saves him from the mud pit, and she's like, "You say, yeah, sure, you sure."
Yeah, I actually.
I'll go with you. Let's talk about Kevin Costner.
I unironically like that line delivery.
I do too. I do too. I thought it was funny.
Can I just say this is the only movie where Kevin Costner being disinterested in wooden works.
I
what?
actually,
Wooden works? What?
the way he's
wooden in this movie.
Oh yeah,
It's
No,
the only
sure.
one where that works.
I'm going to have to agree with Aaron on this. I think this is the best.
Where it
thing that
works?
yeah, I actually do.
It works for this movie,
It works
but not
this
really
movie.
for others.
Nothing else.
Because he's a loner, Dottie, a rebel.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about anything.
The level of the depth given by what's his name? The new Mad Max, the guy who's Bane. What's his name?
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy. That's a level of like, I'm communicating nothing, but still like you can reveal a lot about the character. This was like,
Well, we're not comparing him to Tom Hardy. We're comparing him to other versions of him.
Comparing him to Mel Gibson.
The bar is low.
We're comparing him to other versions of Kevin Costner.
You're going,
Yeah,
Like, I'm saying, like, from
it's
what
the shallow end.
What's I'm
Okay,
saying, what
all right.
what he is capable of works for this movie.
Yes.
This was terrible. Are you kidding me?
You're not hearing us, Matt. We normally hate Kevin Costner.
hate
This
But
was
in
terrible.
this movie, we felt like the way
were like,
he
you
is
know what?
works.
I don't hate him. You know, like like I don't like he's it works. It works.
I gotta find the line.
He
Hold on.
just seems like the kind of
I think
way
it was
you
the
would
greatest
be.
performance in the world. I'm saying like
Yeah, we're not trying to tell you it's a 9
it
out
wasn't
of 10
a fish
for
out of
Craig.
water, no pun intended. No. Even though that's what his character is.
At one point, he really said, after like a big, awesome scene where, you know, they're being attacked by this plane and he's trying to stop them, and Helen comes and harpoons the plane and it spins around, and
That's the scene with Jack Black.
and he that is
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
He's
see.
the
I
pilot.
never realized. And he climbs up, and then the escalation is that then he's thrown into the water, and then he climbs up.
That was cool.
And it was a really cool scene, I thought. And then he just goes, "Don't ever touch my boat," and that was it.
No, that is not.
Yes,
what he did.
he said it just like that.
I will do the line reading for you.
Okay, go.
Did he
He
chop
says-
her hair?
Yeah,
he
that's
does.
right. Then he's like, "Your punishment is a haircut."
What he said was, "Don't ever touch anything on my boat again." He did. It was a very
I think it was believable in this post-apocalyptic world where everybody's defending themselves, and you know how he's been treated as a mutant. Like it would be that, like freaking scary.
he's used
you know?
to bad stuff happening. He's just like, hey,
Yeah,
I'm sick of this.
and that's why he
Don't
was
touch
kind
my
of
boat.
abusive to her and stuff. Like
selling her off for like
Yeah.
prostituting her, throwing the kid off the boat when
know what?
she made fun of his haircut.
Yeah,
That actually happened.
he was like, "They'll fix it in post."
Well, so much. Part of the reason I didn't like his performance, and also was stunned that this movie, I think, won an Oscar for sound mixing,
yeah.
was that like all of the dialogue was very obviously post recorded ADR, like blatantly so.
Can you name an example?
The whole movie.
I
The whole
didn't-
movie.
I mean, a standout example.
actually couldn't tell.
Well, I wrote it like at like my fourth bullet point in my notes is ADR everywhere. So
I
it
actually
was like
couldn't
right
tell.
off the pad.
I actually couldn't tell. But you have to think it has to be ADR because
Yeah, I mean it would have.
they're outside. Like they're
How else?
physically outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much conditions that could get you bad
I
sound.
could imagine that sort of set would create the need for that.
Yeah.
It's a little watered down set, but
Very nice. Well done.
my father was a piano movie.
I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying you making the puns. Usually, I really did want at one point to have like some yacht bros to float in the background with their like party music, like "Would you?" and they're like "You" in the background.
Somebody once told me the world was better.
They're like tubing while these wave riders.
Hey, now.
Hey guys, where's the cantina? All right.
I just pictured it all.
It's pretty funny in the context of Kevin Costner with this like weird like Rube Goldberg boat. They're like,
I'm getting tired. All right, reel me in.
"Hey guys, watch your wake." While Dennis Hopper's like bloody eyes falling out. You guys got any empties? So good. All right. Let's talk about Dennis Hopper a little bit.
Okay. Dennis Hopper is easily one of my favorite villains of all time in this movie.
In every movie that he's a villain in,
He's really good.
He's my favorite.
What did you like about Dennis Hopper?
He means business, but he's also a goofball. That's what I liked. I thought that was done really well.
He brings a knife and fork to every set. Like he just eats that scenery. He chews it and eats it.
It's like he clearly demonstrates himself to be menacing, and then he shows what a goofball he is when he's like not around people.
He's comical.
Yeah.
He's like I felt like it was Looney Tunes whenever he was on the screen.
But that's
What was great. We knew he was capable of bad stuff because he shot people and all that. It's not like he wasn't dangerous.
I want to call attention to one.
You
go ahead. I want to call attention to one scene.
90s villain.
There was after he's kidnapped Enola, who's the girl with the tattoo.
I think I know this line.
It's not a line, really, as much as a whole scene. By the way, Enola can't swim, and I know it kind of plays into her arc later, but
because
you can't swim.
Because she's from land.
You live in Waterworld.
Because she's from land.
Of course she can't swim.
She's got no fins.
But they, after Dennis Hopper's crew, the smokers, have kidnapped her, he's like trying to interview her to reveal like where to go, I guess. And she's like very obstinate to him. It's like, Kevin Costner's going to get you. Like, he's definitely coming for me. I'm not scared at all.
Yeah.
And he's like,
who's Kevin Costner?
The way...
If you
Never heard of him.
Like, if you build it, he will come.
My team's on the floor.
Yeah.
They...
You said your finger was a gun, Ray.
Well done.
Well done. Ready? Cue him.
Cue what? Say it again.
Never mind.
It's over.
The crickets, you jack.
Dennis Hopper, with like a lot of like really close-up angles of his bald, fake tanned eyeball like makeup with a eye patch covering it, but wanting you to know that his eye was taken out at all times, and his shaved bald cap head. Close-ups of him like yelling at this little girl who's giving him no information, and he's, for one, just the way he delivers all his lines, to your guys' point, is like kind of funny and like goofy the whole time. She in return is also like, I'm not intimidated at all.
Yeah.
Like, just zero intimidation factor. And then he just goes, I'm gonna catch I'm gonna catch the Mariner guy. I'm gonna eat his brain. She doesn't respond at all. like the escalation and then her response of like, what are you talking about? Just as a scene that made no sense.
I liked it.
I took it to mean that the girl, having spent time and become friends with the tough guy Kevin Costner, had hardened up a little bit.
Yeah, I actually think the point was like
she's seen a bad guy. And he ain't
and
it.
she said like Kevin Costner's a bad guy, like, and scary as hell, and you're not that scary, dude.
Yeah,
you know, like that. Basically, that's where it made sense. You stupid critic, you.
Well, what was even funnier is like right after he's like,
it stinks,
and I don't like it.
Right after
I would have written it differently.
Right after that, he goes. Right after it's like, I'm gonna eat his brain. It like quick cuts to like a rapid sex, like get to sex scene right after that, which is even funnier.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you? Because at the beginning of the movie, she, in order to spare the girl's life, Helen
she offers herself,
like strips down. It's like, you can do whatever you want, just don't kill her. And like she circles back to that later. It's like, you know what? Why didn't you go for it with me? I'm kind of like
hot.
I'm kind of like.
He's like, you didn't shave your pits. Just not into that.
She actually, because the way they show it is from behind.
Yeah.
She actually has like a krang.
Yeah.
Time in her belly. He's like, I'm kind of turned off by krangs.
He's like, well, I'm half fish, and do Do you know how fish mate?
Well, I always, that's another place where I liked his delivery because you didn't really want me. Not really.
Yeah.
It just felt very genuine.
Well, that's what he said.
Yeah, it just felt very
It's like,
genuine.
You didn't really want me.
Not really.
Prove it.
I'm a great actor.
I was in Dances with Wolves.
I'm gonna be Robin Hood.
Yeah.
I still have never seen the Robin Hood with him in it.
You've never seen it?
Never.
Oh, you gotta watch it.
I really do not. What we did another Kevin Costner. That was one of the movies we did, right?
No.
Am I confusing him?
I don't think so.
No, this is the first Kevin Costner.
Who is
movie.
It might be the last.
Who's the one with Dragonheart?
Oh, that's
That's not Kevin
not Kevin Costner.
Who is that?
That's God, why can't
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis
Dennis
Like
Quaid.
this exact same
Dennis
person.
Quaid. I
to me.
said
Yeah.
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid and Kevin Costner.
Dennis. I think that's what you compared him to. Dennis Quaid has more range than Kevin Costner.
still not a lot of range, but more.
But like he's Daniel Day-Lewis compared to Kevin Costner.
I will say Kevin Costner did commit fully to I'm going to be barefoot and I'm going to do these weird contraption things and climb this boat and
Oh, yeah.
he went full on with the
Do my own stunts.
the stunt side of it.
It was
He didn't
cool.
do everything, but he tried to do a lot of it.
Sure. I mean, he almost died. A lot of people almost died.
Yeah.
Looking at this movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like at one point, he was adrift, and it took a bunch of people a long time to go get him. There was another one where the lead stunt person or stunt coordinator was drowning, and it took a bunch of divers to go get
Wow.
him. There was a lot of, in addition to everything costing a lot, all these sets.
Because everything is practical.
Yeah,
everything was real.
There's something respectable about that.
Oh, yeah.
But then when you
And they
think
built a
about
giant
oh
tank.
yeah, a lot of people almost died doing this for this movie.
Pain is temporary. Film is forever.
Except for Waterworld.
I'm gonna be a legend.
This is gonna be the greatest cinematic movie since Citizen Kane.
Very good. Very good.
What's
Yeah.
I'm gonna look through my notes. What else stands out to you guys as we go through?
The big thing is the real sets, all that stuff. It
Yeah, we
doesn't
should-
feel
The action
fake.
was great. It was good action of what we kind of. Even though it was a science fiction movie, it felt more like an action movie.
Yeah.
And we're missing those kind of action movies today. You know, that kind of
the grounded action.
the Die Hard. You know,
it's over the
practical
top,
shit.
but it's not that over the top.
no, it's kind of there's something cool about it. You know,
Yeah, it's just well
It's
executed.
it's not hokey.
No,
action.
It's a little
good
bit.
the
It's
action's
a little
good.
bit hokey. Just a little.
No, but I think what's his name? That guy, the guy who plays the ship, the guy who flies the hot air balloon.
the hot air balloon guy.
He's a good actor.
Yeah.
He
He's
played
that guy. I never knew his name.
I did not enjoy the hot air balloon.
No, but I
man.
think he played. I think he played sincere. I didn't enjoy him. I'm thinking he played sincere.
this will take you back home. And if you only had a brain, Kevin Costner.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was fine. I would not give credit to the airship stuff. That was where the practical kind of all right, you're pushing it a little bit here. I liked what they did with the
yeah, where did they get
cities,
helium?
the boats, the using the different they had wave riders, they had big sailboats, they had little machine
Where did they get all
engine
the
driven
oil?
one.
You know, how can they?
Well, and they referenced that. And that was actually one of my favorite moments in the whole movie was the oil guy.
He's like the black.
The
stuff.
oil guy, yeah.
He doesn't know what it is.
Yeah, he just lives in the darkness.
Yeah,
it's
and
just oh yeah,
And then when the catches
oil's
up-
running low.
And then when Kevin Costner blows up the boat, he's like, "Oh, thank God! Oh God!" He
the
wanted to
best
die
part.
so much. Oh, thank God!
Sweet relief.
So that oil tanker is significant because it was
It's the Exxon Valdez.
okay. So explain that to Matt what that is.
There was
I'm not an idiot.
I'm
yeah,
an idiot.
he knows
Explain
it.
to me why I'm thinking Matt.
Matt doesn't know it. I know what
I
it
know
is,
it.
but explain it to Matt.
Somebody explain it.
Explain to the audience.
Okay, I'll do it. Somewhere in the 80s or 90s, there was a
89.
big oil spill from that Exxon Valdez boat. and they thought it'd be funny to make the boat with all the oil the Exxon Valdez.
And the captain is that captain, and that's why he calls St. Joseph. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
they don't know that he was just a regular guy.
Yeah,
They see him as some kind of mythic figure.
yeah. It looks like they don't use the oil from the ship to power the ship. They just use oars. So,
That's right.
you know, but they use.
It's like giant Viking slave labor rowers, and they rely on oil.
But it makes sense because they had the other stuff to use the oil for.
Yeah.
You mean
Like what?
Jet skis?
the jet skis, everything else. So it makes sense because it would actually the oil would last longer. But they were so stupid, and like they set up the inbred thing perfectly, and like they're probably all inbreds because they called them all cousins, and like that was funny. That was funny. Like
The only thing that gets me though is
They'll row for a month before they know.
what facilities did they have to refine that oil into gasoline?
quiet you.
Yeah, see,
That's
no,
another. That's another hole with another person.
I
you
am
can't
not
see.
the kind of person to bring up that sort of stuff.
There's
I
one-
just felt like I should.
There's one big weird cut. Like it's not a plot hole. It's just a weird cut when he comes up to the oil rig and it's like dark and it's misty. You know, it's like there's like fog, and he comes up to it and he climbs it, and they're like, all right, we're gonna talk to the crew, and like during this cut, it's like dark and it's misty, and Kevin Costner's climbing it, you know, the side of it at the beginning, and when he comes out and talks to the crew, it's like daylight. It's
Ben?
it's like daylight.
I don't want to rain on your parade, Ben, but have you ever flown in a plane?
Yes.
Have you ever?
Have you ever flown in
been
a
in
plane
a
on like a
Turkish
really
prison?
cloudy day?
It just didn't make sense
If
because
you go high enough, it gets sunny.
that's true, but there's a long shot of it where it shows it more misty. Like
Listen, you, quiet.
Anyways,
Shut up. So
the lighting was different. It was dark.
It was different.
It was just complete
It might
180.
It might have been shot on a different day.
Well, they showed kind of the mist dissipating like in
Yeah.
the long shot, but it just didn't. It wasn't the right transition.
I'll give you that it can be jarring, but yeah, whatever.
I will. So I
I had,
think
to
this.
put I had to put the subtitles on this movie so I can remember what they're saying because even if it was ADR, it was bad ADR. I couldn't hear
it
them.
was bad. It was really bad.
Oh well.
I do think the strongest aspect was sort of the act, like in the entire first scene, and I guess it gets to the pacing too. Like, I felt like the first scene was 40 minutes long. It felt like all one cohesive, like he finds the thing, he's getting chased, or he goes down
First
and gets
half
the
of
dirt.
this movie is like a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, and then he
It's
takes
cool.
it into the city, and you're
Good
getting
world
introduced to
building.
this world, and it's kind of cool, and there's these weird dynamics involved, and then you reveal that he's a mutant, and then, while he's trapped, there's this other villain coming to try and get the dirt and the map, and there's these, like, as it's campy, but still kind of cool, like, with the ramps and the plane, and how they use the jets, and there's all these different elements, and you get these cool aerial shots where they're, like, going around this obviously made the city, and it kind of the movie ends with a similar kind of similarly well done action sequence where Kevin Costner's going to rescue her,
Yeah.
and it's narrated and the music's really good, but it's kind of clunky in how he's dispatching people, but then
There's no reason for him dispatching people. That was one thing that
it didn't.
He was
it
collecting
didn't make a whole lot of
weapons, at
sense,
least.
but
that makes sense. Okay.
it was still kind of.
He needed a gun.
He goes
By
down
the way,
this
they all
like
know how to use guns.
he goes down this zip line that's surrounded by fire. He does this weird like bungee thing where he picks her out of the water,
That
and
was cool.
the jet skis crash and it makes like a nuclear explosion mushroom cloud. Like,
Yeah.
boom.
Would
Yeah.
you have preferred a realistic, not so big explosion?
I would have preferred. It would almost have been funnier if there was no explosion and they just kind of like.
Well, there probably
you hear
wouldn't have been one.
Plastic clacking against each other and then flying into the water.
What about
Ow!
what about like what
We'll
about
get you later.
what about having the monster eat him at the end? You know, that would have been better.
Yeah, or
know-
like they like crash and they're just floating in the water, and then the fish poop.
Yeah.
That'd be
Wouldn't have been
awesome.
a bad idea.
Have a callback to it.
I will say, I think the biggest miss, if we were doing good, bad, and ugly, which we're clearly not,
Nope.
I think the biggest miss was them setting up the sharks,
What was that about?
and then they never do anything
What was
with them.
that
It's
about?
just, hey, there are sharks here.
They're sharks.
We're not going to. We just see fins. And okay,
Were the
done.
sharks
It
like,
would have been cool to see more.
It would have
Yeah,
been
but-
cool to see him fighting sharks or riding
that's true, but
sharks.
what was
or-
the point of the sharks? Like, oh, and she got scared, or were they afraid of were the sharks like afraid of the smokers? You know, I didn't
know.
get that.
I didn't
scene.
get it. I don't know.
Maybe
I wish
there's a cutout scene that we don't know about.
and maybe it would have clashed with the like gritty Mad Maxian dirty world
They
and
did show-
metal and stuff that they make, but like I would have loved to have more animal sea creature
You're right.
stuff.
They did show them eating a shark. Oh, right there, right behind
Yeah.
me. Yeah. You know, they did show them eating like
was a weird
the village. They were
hammerhead-looking
eating
thing.
like they were cutting up a meat of a shark that they pulled out of the water. But yeah,
I don't know. It
Yeah.
would have been cool as a
More
mutant for him to like. I basically was at one point thinking like, this. I hope the Aquaman movie is this.
do you know what movie copied
I
this?
hope that's the.
Do you know what movie copied this? Now I'm thinking about it now. Like a recent movie that came out like last year, Moana.
I never saw Moana.
It's like they're
so-
always on a raft the whole. They're on a sail ship the whole time.
Perfect.
And it's like, what can I say? But hey, you're welcome. That's what Kevin Costner should have done. Broke out and dance.
should have done.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
I did like the eye patch, like how it was like.
It was like a chin strap for a football helmet.
Well, no, the first one was actually
Yeah, it was
goggles.
different. It
was
changed.
It was goggles at the beginning. It was
Yeah.
a goggle that he used that improvises eye patch. I go, that's pretty clever. That's pretty good costume design. You know, that's exactly what you would do. You know,
Yeah, just everything was made out of junk, and it looked like it was junk.
I don't think there would be that many survivors if the world was this way. I think it'd be too hard to exist.
Well, people are tenacious.
Speaking of tenacious, Jack Black was in this movie.
for like 2 seconds.
Showed
It
up.
was like 20 seconds.
So, what would you think was like your favorite thing about the whole movie?
Favorite?
Like, this is the best.
Are you thinking of like a scene or just
Doesn't matter.
Definitely the.
love
I'm
this.
partial to the Mad Max aesthetic, so I liked what they did, and not just saying post-apocalyptic world and that's it. They actually thought through
How it happened.
how they thought through the world, I guess, and
It was
through
thoughtful.
the practical effects and through the sets and everything. Clearly, that's where they spent their money. Like they did a good job making that vision seem real.
So-
And I like that.
Here's an interesting thing that I guess in the director's cut, which I haven't seen forever. I've actually seen the director's cut. When they go to the island, there's more scenes at the dry land, and they see this plaque, and the plaque basically says that this is Mount Everest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was about to ask that
Yeah.
question. It would have to be at like a mountain or
It
something.
was Mount Everest.
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
where dry land is,
Yeah.
and it's like that makes sense.
That's good.
Now, would it be
good.
warm like that? I don't know, but like,
Well, if you change everything else,
Yeah, if everything else is
and
so
like
warm,
even her
yeah.
tattoo looks like it's Mount Everest.
Yeah.
too. Like an island, but there's the highest point in the world. You know.
the one thing they only mention it once, but I feel like they could have mentioned it a little bit more was the pole shifting thing. The North and South poles shifted.
What? That
You
was
don't
in this
remember
movie.
He
don't
said. I
remember
think he
quite.
said it when he was trying to read the map.
Well, he did it at the
yeah, he
end.
did.
All he did was all the scientist guy said was north is south, south is north. But earlier in the movie, they talked about how the poles shifted or something.
Yeah,
they mention it in passing, but I feel like they should have just explained it a little bit better. Because
Well, explain it to us.
somehow when the Earth got covered by water, the magnetic poles of Earth shifted.
And that's why everything was backwards. for
Yeah.
them. Okay.
And that actually happens for real. I think it happens like every many thousands of years here. North and south switch,
Wow.
magnetic field, what have you.
We're coming up on it, right? I guess it wouldn't change anything, right? Just
It probably would. I don't know.
It would probably be an extinction.
Your toilet-
just toilets go the other way.
Your toilet will go the other way.
Nah, who cares?
It's like, oh no, what are we gonna do? That could be like a whole Family Guy sketch. It's like it all happens. Everything goes back.
Lois, the toilet's going the other way.
America starts driving on the left side of the road, and England starts driving on the right side of the road.
Cats and dogs living together.
Everybody
Chaos,
just
Ray.
starts walking backwards.
Yeah.
bumping into things.
Hey, excuse me.
I don't know why, but this is the only way I can walk.
But then
It's
we
just
evo-
like your knees just flip.
Yeah.
Your legs.
Well,
just-
we're birds now.
What's that movie? What is that horror? Casper, where just everybody's like,
Oh, yeah.
their head spins
Twisted,
around
yeah.
and they walk backwards.
Well, my favorite thing about this movie is Dennis Hopper. Everything that he did, I love so much.
Okay,
And the boat. The boat was really
That
good.
was cool.
the boat was
Good
cool.
design.
What was
But
yours, Ben?
there was so many deliveries from Dennis Hopper that were so great. Like he's this bad guy, but when he's getting the girl in the boat, he's getting Enola in the plane, and she's like smacking at him and stuff. And he's like, "Now you behave yourself now."
Yeah.
That's right. He
was
had
so
that
good.
weird like
He's like, we're gonna run the picket
drawl
fence.
accent.
I love Dennis Hopper. Let's just
Yeah.
talk about that. What a gem. He was in a lot of '90s action movies, and I think this movie, in terms of action movie villain, Speed. He's so good in Speed. You got to do
Yes.
Speed. Oh, I love him in Speed.
Man,
Hot pop quiz, hot shot. You know, he's like, I'm smarter than you. I'm smart. Well, I'm taller.
oh my God, do you remember? Do
he
you
was
remember
He
the
was King-
scene
he was
in
King
the
Koopa.
beginning where they're initially like firing on the atoll with the gunboat?
Oh yeah, that was great. Could you tell him why? Why is he cousin? Why? What's that cousin's name? Why does he keep fighting?
What's his name? Chuck. Maybe he doesn't answer to Chuck. Call him Charles.
Yeah, it was funny. Like, but that's like, can you like? But it shows how stupid they were. Like, incest. Because he called them all cousins. You know, kind of thing.
It kind of did drift into the new Mad Max with the emo what's his name? What's the main villain guy?
Immortan John.
Morton Joe.
Immortan
Who's
Joe.
like having sex with everybody and his brides and stuff. They're
Well,
all his cousins.
The second in command guy looks like Immortan Joe.
Yeah,
a
he
little bit.
did. Yeah, with his hair. Yeah.
A little bit. He was the judge in Batman Begins.
Ah.
Yeah.
I did keep thinking every time Dennis Hopper spoke, he was about to go into like some subversive new KFC commercial.
Yeah. And don't watch the paint dry.
All right, Ben, what was your favorite thing?
This.
The score? You know this video is going to get taken down now, right? Turn it off! Turn it off! We might
The
make
music. they couldn't hear that.
How do you know? Are you saying my sound system can't pick up stuff?
I'm saying my sound system sucks. And
I'm
it's
saying you have no idea how good the algorithms are now.
Oh no. 0110.
I remember when people used to get flagged for singing certain melodies on YouTube videos and stuff.
Oh really?
That was a
Wow.
good time.
Wow. The music. I love the music. And James Newton Howard came in late and did the music. The score was really good. He did it like in a couple weeks, like 3 or 4 weeks. The music. So the music's really good. He's known for coming in and like saving scores. He like came in and did the score for King Kong, and the score for King Kong was pretty good. He came in and did it real fast, but no, I like the music a lot. And second, I love me some Dennis Hopper.
And some practical scenery.
I was not as big a fan of Dennis Hopper as you guys were. But
Well, if you have a soul,
I actually thought the acting overall was bad across every single person.
It wasn't the best.
no.
And I don't even know if it's because of the dialogue. I think it was like just.
It's
I think
Kevin
it all
Hart.
stems from Kevin Costner.
Yeah, just like, oh, I can't go too serious here, or else I'm going to make Kevin Costner look bad.
I
He's
wonder
the
if he,
bankroll
I wonder
here.
if he is difficult to work with, where it's like he would get mad at.
Funny
someone.
you ask, because I think it's trivia time. Kevin Costner was a producer on this movie.
Oh,
He
And
put a lot of his own money into it.
wow.
yes, he did. And it's not really talked about, but the director, I believe, dropped out near the end of the movie, and Kevin Costner took over as director.
I saw that it was Costner might have forced him out.
It was something along the lines of, "You're not doing this the way I want you to."
I bet he would.
Less emotion, please.
Like, how dare you give me lines?
But he did enough for the movie to get his name on it, so that was good.
Wow.
I think part of the direction also that when Costner did take over was the music side, though. and changing the score to
Yeah.
what ultimately happened. So
ultimately,
in that case, it was a good.
Well,
that was a
Kevin
good
Costner had a lot of ideas that he wanted to implement, and a lot of them were good ideas. And sometimes you just got to force them in there, especially when you're the one ponying up the money.
That's true.
Did you know that Joss Whedon did some script doctoring on this on set?
Oh, there's a couple quips.
Yeah. But I think
Call him Charles.
the way they describe it is that he didn't really get to put anything he wanted in there. It was more like just taking Kevin
Cues from
Costner's
Kevin
dictation.
Yeah.
So
It's like, you can spell.
that's why this movie isn't Joss Whedonified.
So
No
this,
wonder I like it.
what you're saying is Kevin Costner was the Greg Sestero of this movie.
Yes. Who's that?
That's Greg from The Room.
I know.
Obviously, everyone will understand that reference.
Yeah.
All right. Would you guys recommend this movie?
Yes, I would recommend it up and down. It is one of my very favorite movies. It is like here's
Whoa. Very favorite movies.
Yeah, I sent you guys in the message thread this morning. If I had to make it's not a perfect movie, but if I had to make a top 20 list of my favorites ever, it would definitely be on there.
What a waste of paper.
It's just paper's a
Valuable
hot commodity in the future. So
I would
hold on.
recommend this movie. It's not the greatest movie ever. It's just fun.
People like to slam it, but
It was
probably,
fun. I'm
yeah.
telling you what. I wasn't looking forward to watching this because, like, if I was on my own, I'm flipping through like HBO or whatever, and Waterworld, I would never watch it. But when I had to watch it for the pod because Aaron's suggestion was like, oh, I enjoy this movie. Like I was
Here's an
yeah,
example.
I was like, I loved it.
Normally, when you're watching, like when I watch a movie for this, if I've seen it before, I'll just turn it on and do something else while I'm watching it. I started to do that, and the movie kind of gradually took me over, and I stopped doing whatever I was doing.
That
I
was my
paying
plan
attention to the
too.
movie.
It did me. It did me too.
It drew me in.
It drew me in.
No matter
too.
how many times I've seen it.
Yeah, it drew me in. I didn't. And there's just something about it. It's just, I guess, it's the concept.
Sometimes it's a perfect storm kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not great.
No.
I mean, I think a lot of people would enjoy this. People who like action movies. Nick would love this. Probably have seen it. Our friend Nick, who's kind of was at the pod to begin with. But I think a lot of people would like this.
Yeah.
If your name begins with an M and ends with a T or a W, you wouldn't like it.
Doesn't leave.
Cover your bases there.
I'm thinking it.
I am probably going to surprise you and say people should definitely watch this.
Yeah. We got a unanimous vote there.
You're going to Hollywood.
This movie really made a splash. That's our show. All right, bye.
All right.
It was one whale of a tail.
I think it's a very important movie to see because it's it was the most expensive movie ever made.
Is it still that record, or is it?
No.
Okay.
No,
At the time-
it's still. I mean, these days, if their budget, like, think of it this way: if their budget was done today, it would still be an overinflated budget,
Yeah.
but not as much as like Justice League or something.
Well, and also part of it too is
Adjusted for inflation, it's probably like 200-something million.
it's almost in retrospect, it gains points with me because
They put in the work.
because it's not, you didn't put the money into computers or put it into something that's like, why did you where did the money go here? You had a team of people wasting
We
their
can
time
very clearly see where the money went.
animating an entire background just because you wanted to shoot in a green screen lot. Like with this, you could see exactly where every penny went.
There are some green screen shots in this movie, but they're
they're pretty bad. And you see where that didn't get the money.
sure, but it's
but
not
it was
like
1995.
It was
they
probably
don't
still blue
abuse.
screen.
They didn't
No, it
abuse
was
it,
green.
and so when it comes to like going in, my conception was my preconceived notions were that it cost a ton of money and that made it, and it was still terrible, and then and that it was still terrible basically.
No.
But really, it has nothing to do with the money. like I guess you could say it was mismanaged, but
A little bit.
and it got bloated because of mishaps and other things.
There was a
said-
lot of like set accidents where stuff broke
Right.
and stuff.
They also said that a lot of the money went to the marketing of this movie.
yeah,
Well, I mean,
and I
that's-
heard that kind of saved it in that it.
Well, it flopped on the theatrical release, and then it really made its bank on the home video release.
And worldwide, too. I guess worldwide, it made its money back on worldwide.
Yeah.
But like everything, there was everything was in camera shot like that. Like that's what's like awesome about it.
Well, it was that time,
Yeah, I missed that. I missed that a little bit.
Yeah.
This movie was definitely not a snorkel.
A what? Say it
A
again.
snorkel?
A snorkel.
Oh. Can you say that like one
No,
more?
we're done.
Okay.
Snorkel?
Okay.
I don't get the joke.
This is a good podcast.
Are you
in
serious?
Explaining a bad joke.
Did you not?
Absolutely.
Are you
terrible
serious that you
joke.
don't get it?
Don't be
Okay.
jellyfish of my
What do
good
you do
jokes.
when you're bored? You fall asleep.
Snore. Okay, I just didn't understand. It was that bad of a pun.
All right, I think this is our cue to be done. We just explained like maybe this.
He got it.
I'm gonna eat Matt's brains.
I'm just gonna keep making bad water jokes until we're done. All right, so unanimous. We're gonna see. We would say definitely go see it.
I
Go
would
to
almost
Hollywood.
put this in the Hall of Fame. I gotta tell you. That's just
Nope,
me.
nope.
I know that's just.
Nope.
I know
Nope.
it's just me.
I would put Grillman's over over
As
this.
we know.
That's fine. I can have my Hall of Fame opinions. I know you won't share them.
You could, but you're not.
All right,
You're so nice.
Phony.
anything to plug before we go? We'll come up with a movie next week. Hopefully, actually a good one.
Whenever Ben gets over his sinus infection, we're gonna do more Game Sharks.
So, Game Shark is discontinuing, right?
No.
Because I'm not going to get over my sinus. I'm dying, folks. I'm dying. I
Send help.
I sneeze
gonna go
blood. You know, in the
sleep
zombie
with the
apocalypse,
fishes.
when you like get the disease, I sneeze blood. No,
Yeah.
we're good.
Great.
All right,
Well-
cut that part out of the YouTube.
All right,
All right.
goodbye,
Waste
everybody.
of time.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye. Bye.